One thing we are saying with this story is that it's true.
Inbound, 3 o'clock.
I heard this, Angelina said this earlier on today, that Louis' generation are nearly gone. And the examples that they set and the level of sacrifice that they endured, it would be a huge shame, a tragedy if they get lost in history, those lessons. Whether they're faith-based or whether they do inspire people to see the triumph within forgiveness. That's our responsibility as storytellers here. And, you know, thankfully there are people like Louis Zamperini who we can focus on.
You are enemies of Japan. You will be treated accordingly.
The message is global. You know, Louis is not only an American hero, he's an international hero. And, you know, as a Japanese, I'm confident even Japanese people can learn from his experience. And then it's not about the war. It's all about, you know, his unbroken spirit and the forgiveness.
This is an incredible role for you. Was this hard taking it on?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was a hard decision to tackle this role because controversial.
Yeah.
And such a brutal, cruel. But at the same time, Angie and I talked about this character, and then we wanted to put humanity and a depth, you know, and a respect into the character. We don't say what he's done is right, but as an actual person, we wanted to do this with respect.
Yeah. And also in the movie, there's a theme of Louis' brother kind of motivating him and believing in him. Have you ever had someone yourself done that for you?
It actually, you know, to me, my father.
Yeah.
You know, actually, I used to hate him. I had kind of complicated relationship with him when I was a child. That's why I was able to find a similarity between the bird and me.
Wow.
He also, you know, had a twisted feeling. But the only one word my dad gave me was never give up.
Wow.
So I was, you know, that's why I was able to, you know, sympathize. I'm gonna sympathize, to this film and in this, you know, whole story.
We beat him by making it to the end of the war alive. That's how we do it. That's our revenge.
I mean, I never imagined meeting Louis. You know, he almost seemed like a mythological sort of figure in my head because
Superman.
ever since I'd become familiar with Louis because of either articles that were out on him before the book had come out or Olympics sort of, they would do something every once in a while at the Olympics that would showcase Louis and people would get to see a sense of him. And then the book had come out and I read it tenaciously and was so inspired by his life, and everybody else was becoming so inspired by him. And when Matt Baehr, the producer who's been trying to get this film off the ground for 15 years, was like, hey, you're meeting Louis tomorrow morning. And then you can't replicate those nerves.
Yeah. It's definitely Jack's story, it's Louis' story, you know, but I think we both felt like we had a sort of important thing to contribute to that, you know, and I think that Louis learned something from both of our characters, and we learned a lot from him, and it's sort of like for me personally, I think that you kind of need the dichotomy between Louis' sort of determination and persistence and resilience, and the opposite with Mac, you know, that his mind goes into despair and he's certain that he's gonna die, or that we're all gonna die, he says.
Yeah, it's almost he
almost
had to witness somebody giving up to
see what it is to survive, you know.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
You have to believe in sheer determination, the determination to come out alive.
He really transformed his life. I mean, the movie shows his childhood in transforming. What kind of things did he tell you about that period of his life?
Well, you know, he was a juvenile delinquent with low esteem, and then he got into sports, and that turned his life around somewhat. It gave him direction in life and gave him self-esteem, though it didn't completely change his character. He still was he was still a pretty vengeful guy and defiant. And oddly enough, that defiance is probably what got him through the prison camp, to get him 27 months of being tortured by the bird. But it wasn't until 1949, when he walked into a Billy Graham tent meeting, that his life was fully turned around, and he no longer had these dreams of vengeance upon his former captors. But he, at that point, was able to realize that the power of forgiveness through faith in Jesus Christ, and that was able to. I mean, he had post-traumatic stress disorder. Of course, we didn't know what it was called then.
Right.
And so his life was spiraling down. So when he was able to come to faith, his life turned around like that. He'd suffered nightmares from prison camp for 5 years up until that evening.
Wow.
And he went home that night and didn't have a nightmare for the first time in 5 years, and never had one again the rest of his life. And my dad was the most happy, joyful person I've ever known.
I used to think that I could do anything, that I was better than I am.
Who says you're not?
If you get me through this, I swear I'll dedicate my whole life to you.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Stay down.
If he drops it, shoot him. Come on.
Thanks for watching. To find out more about entertainment news that follows your values, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and like us on Facebook, so you can know before you go.